In 2019, Nick Drummond and Patrick Bakker, a couple with a passion for historical architecture, purchased a charming American four-square house in the rural village of Ames, New York. Nestled in the serene Mohawk Valley, the house, built in 1914, exuded an old-world charm that captivated them instantly. Little did they know, their new home harbored secrets that would lead them on an extraordinary journey into the past. The house came with intriguing local lore. Neighbors whispered that it had been built by a mysterious figure known as Count Adolph Humpfner, often referred to as the Mystery Man of the Mohawk Valley. Born in Bavaria, Germany, Humpfner arrived in the United States in the early 20th century, eventually settling in upstate New York. He was a man of many aliases and dubious enterprises, with rumors suggesting ties to bootlegging during the Prohibition era. Despite his enigmatic reputation, Humpfner amassed considerable wealth, owning multiple properties and businesses across New York and New Jersey. His sudden death in 1932 left behind an estate valued at over $140,000, a fortune at the time, and a plethora of unanswered questions about the origins of his wealth. A year after moving in, Nick and Patrick embarked on renovating the house, starting with the mudroom, a small 70-square-foot space that appeared to have been added in the 1920s. As Nick began removing the exterior skirting boards to install insulation, he noticed something unusual. Behind the boards was a cavity filled with what appeared to be hay and paper. Upon closer inspection, he discovered a package wrapped in brown paper and straw. Curiosity piqued, he carefully unwrapped it to reveal a bottle labeled Old Smuggler Gaelic Whisky. Excited by the find, Nick called Patrick and the contractors to assist. Together, they removed more boards, uncovering numerous similar packages hidden within the walls. The following day, the couple decided to explore a hatch in the mudroom floor, which they had been told led to an old well. Descending into the crawl space, Nick noticed something peculiar. Instead of exposed floor joists, there was a solid wooden ceiling secured with flathead screws, suggesting it was designed for easy removal. Suspecting more hidden compartments, they pried open the boards and discovered additional packages of whiskey concealed beneath the floor. In total, they unearthed over 70 bottles of Old Smuggler whiskey, some dating back to 1923. Many bottles were still full, while others had partially or fully evaporated over the decades. Intrigued by their discovery, Nick and Patrick delved into the history of their home and its original owner. Their research revealed that Count Adolph Humpfner was indeed a man of mystery. He had multiple aliases and was involved in various questionable business dealings. Notably, he had a reputation for bootlegging during Prohibition, which explained the hidden stash of whiskey in the house. Humpfner's sudden death in 1932 left many unanswered questions, and it took investigators nearly a decade to untangle his complex estate due to his numerous aliases and clandestine activities. The discovery of the hidden whiskey provided tangible evidence of the house's clandestine past. During Prohibition, 1920 to 1933, the manufacture, sale, and transportation of alcoholic beverages were illegal in the United States. However, the demand for alcohol remained high, leading to a surge in illegal production and distribution by bootleggers. Humpfner's hidden stash of Old Smuggler whiskey, a brand imported from Scotland, suggests he was involved in smuggling operations, supplying illicit liquor to meet the public's demand. The careful concealment of the bottles within the walls and floorboards indicates a sophisticated effort to hide the contraband from law enforcement during that tumultuous period. Recognizing the historical significance of their find, Nick and Patrick decided to preserve the empty bottles as part of the home's legacy. They planned to incorporate some of the bottles into the house's decor, creating a display that honors its unique history. They also intend to leave some packages in situ, possibly with a glass panel to showcase the hidden compartments beneath the floor. To share their ongoing discoveries and the renovation process, they created an Instagram account at Bootlegger Bungalow, where they document their journey and engage with a growing community of history enthusiasts. Curious about the quality of the nearly century-old whiskey, Nick and Patrick decided to sample one of the intact bottles. To their surprise, the Old Smuggler whiskey had aged remarkably well, offering a smooth and rich flavor that provided a direct sensory connection to the Prohibition era. This tasting experience not only satisfied their curiosity, but also deepened their appreciation for the historical context of their home and its original owner. As they continued their research, Nick and Patrick uncovered more details about Count Adolph Humpfner's life. He was known for his extravagant lifestyle and was often seen driving expensive cars and wearing fine clothing. Despite his outward appearance, Humpfner was a man of secrecy, often conducting business under various aliases. Nick and Patrick's fascination with their home only deepened as they continued their research. They scoured historical archives, old newspaper clippings, and town records, determined to piece together the full story of Count Adolph Humpfner. The more they uncovered, the more their excitement grew. Humpfner's sudden death in 1932 had sparked a decade-long legal battle over his fortune, as he had left behind no clear heirs. The court cases surrounding his estate revealed shocking details about his mysterious dealings, secret bank accounts, and suspicious disappearances of associates. Some whispered that he had been silenced by the very criminal network he was once a part of. Despite his reputation as a wealthy businessman, Humpfner was a man of many secrets. His fortune was traced back to various sources, including real estate, banking, and alleged underground liquor operations during Prohibition. The discovery of the whiskey in Nick and Patrick's home suggested that the house had been more than just a residence. It had been a safe house, a hidden storage facility, or even a meeting place for bootleggers. The location of Ames, far from prying eyes yet close enough to larger distribution routes, made it a perfect hideout for smuggling operations. Nick and Patrick started sharing their findings on social media, and the response was overwhelming. Historians, crime enthusiasts, and collectors all reached out, offering insights and additional information about Humpfner and the Prohibition era. Some suggested that their home could have been connected to a larger smuggling network that operated between upstate New York and major cities like New York City and Chicago. Others speculated that the old well beneath the house might have had a more sinister purpose, perhaps a way to dispose of unwanted evidence or even rivals. The couple debated whether to continue searching for more hidden compartments. The house's history suggested that there could be more secrets buried within its walls. Encouraged by messages from followers urging them to dig deeper, they carefully examined blueprints of the home and compared them to what they had already uncovered. One evening, as Nick was inspecting the basement, he noticed a section of the stone wall that didn't match the rest of the foundation. The stones looked newer, as if they had been replaced or reinforced long after the house was originally built. Determined to investigate, they began chipping away at the cement holding the stones together. After several hours of work, a small opening appeared, revealing a narrow passageway behind the wall. Heart-pounding, Nick grabbed a flashlight and squeezed through the gap, finding himself in a hidden chamber that had been completely sealed off. Dust and cobwebs covered the space, but it was clear that someone had once used it as a storage room. Against the back wall sat a set of wooden crates, their surfaces worn with age. Patrick climbed in behind him, and together they carefully pried open one of the crates. Inside, they found stacks of old ledgers, receipts, and documents, some of them marked with bank seals, others with unfamiliar codes and signatures. One ledger in particular caught their attention. The name A. Humpfner was scrawled in elegant handwriting across the cover. As they flipped through the fragile pages, they found records of financial transactions, shipments, and coded messages, many of which corresponded with dates from the Prohibition era. Some pages listed large sums of money exchanged between names that Nick and Patrick didn't recognize. The codes used in the transactions suggested that these weren't ordinary business dealings. They had stumbled upon what appeared to be a financial record of bootlegging operations, possibly even evidence of a larger criminal network. If these documents were authentic, they could be an invaluable piece of Prohibition history. As they continued searching through the chamber, they found several more crates, some containing what looked like personal belongings, old clothing, jewelry, and even a rusted revolver wrapped in a cloth. The sight of the gun sent a chill down their spines. What had really happened in this house a century ago? Had Humpfner been involved in violent dealings, or was he merely protecting himself from rival smugglers? With their minds racing, they decided to take their findings to a local historian who specialized in Prohibition-era crime. After carefully reviewing the documents, the expert confirmed that they appeared to be authentic, and the coded messages could indicate shipments of illegal liquor across state lines. Some of the bank records hinted at offshore accounts, adding another layer of mystery to Humpfner's fortune. The historian suggested that Humpfner may have been laundering money through his various businesses, using the house as a hidden hub for his operations. Word of their discovery spread quickly. Newspapers picked up the story, and soon Nick and Patrick found themselves fielding calls from museums, documentary filmmakers, and collectors eager to learn more. Offers to buy the whiskey, documents, and other artifacts poured in, but the couple wasn't ready to part with their findings just yet. They felt a deep sense of responsibility to preserve the history of their home and uncover the full truth about Humpfner's life. As they continued their research, they came across records indicating that Humpfner's estate had been contested by multiple claimants after his death. Some believed he had secret heirs who had never come forward, while others suspected that his wealth had been hidden away, never to be found. The house, with all its concealed compartments, may have held more than just whiskey. It could have been the final resting place of lost fortune. Encouraged by the idea, Nick and Patrick turned their attention to other parts of the house, wondering if more hiding places remained undiscovered. They used metal detectors and thermal imaging cameras to scan the walls and floors, hoping to detect any anomalies. In the attic, they discovered an old trunk filled with yellowed newspapers and personal letters. Some of the letters were written in German, possibly correspondence between Humpfner and his family back in Bavaria. One letter stood out, a farewell note addressed to an unknown recipient. The words hinted at regret, betrayal, and an ominous warning: trust no one. The walls have ears. It was dated just weeks before Humpfner's death. The letter raised more questions than answers. Had he known his life was in danger? Had he hidden something even more valuable before he died? As Nick and Patrick processed their discoveries, they realized that their home was more than just a place to live. It was a living piece of history, a time capsule that had preserved secrets for over a century. They decided to document their findings in a book, detailing not only the whiskey stash, but the enigmatic story of Count Adolph Humpfner and his shadowy dealings. The mystery of the house was far from solved, but one thing was certain: what had started as a simple renovation project had turned into an adventure beyond their wildest dreams. And as they continued to uncover pieces of the past, they couldn't help but wonder, what else lay hidden within the walls of the Bootlegger Bungalow?